My lords, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to Railway Empire 2 and our playthrough the campaign. We're now to chapter 3 of 5. This chapter is titled Westward Advance, and we can see all the campaign details there in front of us. We start in Kansas City. The year is 1868, the region is the Great Plains of North America, and the campaign itself is entitled Westward Advance. So this takes place after the end of the Civil War, where old dreams are beginning to thrive once again. Businessman Cyrus K. Holliday trusts you to run his company and conquer the American Midwest with railroads and new settlers. Connect Topeka to Santa Fe and complete the famous Santa Fe route. With a connection to the Southern Pacific, you will also create a transcontinental railway route. As we can see, we haven't played through yet. We have no rank achieved. There are 19 cities and 58 businesses. So let's continue on to the next screen. So we are playing as the General, and again we can't change this during the campaign. So we are General Donovan, we'll retain that name. We are running the Topeka and Santa Fe Railway, ATSF. And our pros and cons for this character: we have secure logistics, which gives us 10% higher revenue from both freight and mail. We have 30% lower track construction costs. However, the building of tunnels and bridges costs us an extra 30%. So if we can avoid bridges and tunnels where possible, that's always going to be a bonus. And the nice reduction there on general track construction costs is going to be a nice help in the early game, I'm sure. So as per, we can't change anything here, so everything is set to default. So let's start the game. I will skip any cutscene introduction that the game chucks at us so we can get straight into the action. And of course, as per usual, initially we'll have a look at our task list and just have a look what lies in store. Okay, so with the introductions out of the way, we are now ready to dive in and see what lies in store. Here's our starting location, Kansas City, just to the center right of the screen. And immediately we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connection bonuses in the immediate vicinity of Kansas City. We have a connection bonus to Topeka and over to Wichita. And then we have some rural business connection bonuses, such as a corn farm off to the west, the grain farm to the south of Topeka, and the lumber camp to the southeast of Kansas City. Looks like we already own a weapons depot down here. Oh no, that's a private try that again. My word, it's a private weapons depot is being created here by the Santa Fe Railway. It looks like we have one competitor as far as my eyes can see, and that's over here in Colorado. They have a line from Denver to Camp Pateron, and they also have a link to a private weapons depot as well. So let's look at the tasks, shall we? So by the end of the year, we need to deliver 12 loads of lumber to Topeka. By June 1869, we need to deliver 8 loads of corn to Topeka. By June 1869 as well, we also need to transport 250 freight cars in total. And in June 1869, we have to advertise a settler bonus in Topeka, which sounds like a new game mechanic to me. And to do that, we select Topeka and activate the settlement bonus to quickly increase the number of citizens. Well, that's an interesting mechanic. So if we're starting in Kansas City, looks like it's our home city. I think the initial strategy has to be, we'll go Kansas to Topeka to Wichita. That'll collect 2 of those connection bonuses. And the line from Topeka to Wichita, as we can see, we've got that beer meat set up. So that'll help with mutual expansion in both of those cities. We want to bring wood into Topeka and corn as well. So after we've got this initial 3-way system set up, we will then look at getting the corn and the lumber camp and running those into Topeka to not only help us with these two tasks, but also it'll chip away at this one right here. So let's get started, shall we? So we want building construction. Let's go ahead. We'll put our primary station here in Kansas City, and we'll pop it just there. We then want a station in Topeka, and I don't think it's going to allow us to do this because we haven't connected the other ones yet. Now, as we can see, you must first connect the train station in Topeka to your rail network. So as soon as we've done that, we'll then put our station down here in Wichita. So let's bring a nice straight line between those two. Of course, as we remember from the character introduction, our basic rail routes, rail lines are cheaper by 30%. However, we do pay extra for bridges and tunnels, so we'll want to be avoiding them. If we have to head westward, it looks like we're going to have some terrain issues as we enter the Rocky Mountain region, but that's something to worry about later on. So let's give these guys a supply tower just there. Now that that's connected, we can connect into Wichita, so we'll do that. And again, we'll pop it towards the edge of the city just to save a couple of dollars when it comes to laying the track. And do we want to share here? I think we will, just to save money on dropping in new platforms. We'll have these two services share platform number 1. And let's get the signals put into position, and I've gone for left-hand signals because it's what I'm the most comfortable with, being from the UK. It's natural to me, so you'll have to bear with me on that one. I know we are in the United States, we should be using right-hand signals, but what the heck. Okay, so they're now connected, so let's get our first couple of lines. Kansas City to Topeka. Locomotive we have, let's go right to the beginning. So we have the Reindeer, the G&M American, the Limar, Philadelphia, Rensselaer, Tyson 10-wheeler, the Dragon, Rogers Mogul, the Hulda, the Rogers American, the Consolidation, the Baldwin 10-wheeler, the Forquino PO340, and the Inyo. Now we're going to have this be a mixed train. It's going to take both passengers and freight, so we'll leave the loading to automatic. I think one train will suffice initially. We can always add more later on. So let's see. We could use the Baldwin 10, although that's quite a bit slower than the Inyo at 46 miles per hour versus 39 miles per hour. And there's not much difference in price, only a couple of thousand, so yeah, I think we'll go for the Inyo here. So we'll set up that line, and then we'll do a line from Topeka to Wichita, and again we'll set it to automatic because we have this BME synergy that we want to take advantage of. Again, we'll go with the Inyo, and we'll go 2 trains this time at $156,000. There we go. So that's that taken care of. What I want to do now is get some of this lumber brought into Topeka, I should say, and also some of this corn being shipped in as well. So let's make a start there. Let's get ourselves a station at this lumber yard just here. And we'll come out this way, and we're going to have to circle around the bottom of the city limits here. And now we will look to go into a distinct and separate platform. And that will just ensure the incoming lumber is not being held up by our passenger services. Likewise, our passenger services will not have to wait on the incoming lumber to get out of the way either. So both of those will be happy. So let's build that. Again, we'll go left-hand drive. We've started that now, so there's no point mixing it up. And then we can set up a line from Rice Stop to Topeka. Let's have you leave with a minimum of 4. And how many trains? I think 1's going to be enough. So we don't want the Inyo. I think we might go for the How much is the 10 wheeler? 72,000. I think we will use this one just to save just a scooch on our purchase cost. So one train running there. Oh, let's just edit the line. So this is lumber into Topeka. There we go. And the next we want to connect in is the corn up here at Thompson Estate. So let's put a station just there at Thompson Estate. And we'll run a nice straight line. We have plenty of available space here. And we're not having to worry about going onto bridges or tunnels, so that's fine. I think what we might do is just get rid of that track point there and have it go a little bit straight. Maybe even that one there. Oh no, it's going to give us a bridge, which we don't want. There we go. So we've got no bridges. A bit of earthworks, but that's okay. Can we just straighten this up and get it looking a little bit tidier, perhaps? No, I think that's the best we're going to get. 62 miles an hour there. What about if we pull this one a little bit straighter as well? That's reducing the speed over there. Let's keep that at 50 miles per hour. That's fine. So we'll build that. We'll double track it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have these lines come separate. Is that a tunnel there? Did I spy a tunnel? No, I don't. Oh, yes, I did. Never mind. So we've paid extra for a tunnel there, which we didn't really want, but it's done now. Regardless, we press on and we head up towards Thompson Estate, where we shall bring these tracks together some distance away from the platform. Put our signals on and a supply tower that's going to be dedicated for this service that we're setting up here. And let's get a new line from Thompson stop into Topeka. Usual here, we'll go for a minimum of 4. And we'll call this corn to Topeka. Locomotive, we'll again go with the Baldwin 10-wheeler. We'll set it to freight. And I might go 2 here just because there's a... In fact, no, I think we'll stick to 1. I was toying with 2 because we're coming a greater distance, but I think 1 will suffice. So before we do anything else, what we now want to do is have these diverge onto a separate run. If we can. It doesn't want to. Well, let's have it come off like this before coming back in then, shall we? A little bit annoying that you have to do it that way, but it still works. And then these will come into that platform there, so it'll be sharing the platform with the incoming lumber, which is fine. Just zoomed in a bit too quickly there, apologies for that. And some signals, of course. Now what we want to do is make sure, if we go to our rail lines, we want to make sure that this fellow here is coming into platform 2 at Topeka. So we'll specify that. What we also want to do is the Topeka to Wichita line. We want to specify that they hit platform number 1. So when you're at Topeka, we want platform 1 for you. There we go. Okay, so that'll start working towards our initial 3 tasks. Given that we have the connection bonus and corn will be required, we may as well connect the corn to our network as well. So let's bring you around here, ideally avoiding any sort of tunnel on that little hill right there, and have this connecting like so. So bring it back down, and again we'll come in short of the platform. That gives us space to work with if we need to connect into the remaining platforms at some point. Put in the signals, supply tower, and set up this line. So we're coming from West Stop to Topeka. Minimum of 4. we'll rename it to Grain to Topeka, and that grain's going to help this beer industry thrive, so that's always nice. We don't want the in-year. We'll go back to the Baldwin 10-wheeler. We'll have one of them running freight. Right, do we have cattle nearby? Yes, we do. So I think what we'll do is bring in some cattle to Wichita as well. So let's get ourselves a station at the cattle ranch. Just there. And then let's run this down. Now, we're probably not going to have space here to diverge them onto a separate platform, so we'll have them just share platform number 1 with our freight train. Sorry, our passenger train. Are you happy? You are happy. And as per come in short, leave us plenty of room to put extra lines in later on. Nope, we don't want that, we want that. And then we want to set up a line from Clarkstop to Wichita. So this is our cattle to Wichita. Locomotive Baldwin 10-wheeler, freight only, minimum of 4. And yep, that should do us quite nicely. So that's all of our initial funds burnt through. Let's just have a look at the research. If there's something in here that's going to reduce track costs, I'm going to be very, very annoyed. Let's see. What would be useful? We don't have a factory yet, so I think we'll give that one a swerve. Increased revenue from mailbags. I imagine we will be shipping some mailbags, so we'll go for that. Reducing auction costs by a further 5%, or reducing water, sand and lubrication consumption amounts by 5%. I think for now we'll go for the boiler cleaning. And we're ready to start the ball rolling on this chapter. So soon we'll have a 400 plus another, that's 600 right there, that's 800, 900. So we'll have 1 million coming in very, very soon as the trains hit their appropriate stations and they register the connection bonus. We're going to have an extra 1 million to play with. At that point, maybe we'll think about buying an industry or something to get the balls rolling on that front, get some nice passive income coming in. And I'm thinking we'd purchase the brewery that we have in Topeka, or we could purchase both the sheep farm here, the wool production right here, and our textile manufactory that exists in Kansas City as well. I'm guessing because these weapons depots are something we've not seen before, they're going to come into play at some point. What we will do with some of the money that we're picking up from these arriving trains is chuck down a couple of maintenance depots at some of our stations. That'll just keep things flowing nice and smoothly. It does mean we might not be able to pick up an industry at the end, but have our trains running smoothly with less breakdowns. I think that's going to be better in the long run. In fact, no other way around, having the industries would be better in the long run. For initial, we want our trains to be as efficient and as free-flowing as possible. So we're not going to do one in Wichita or Kansas City. Did we put one in Clark? Yeah, we did. So every train will hit a maintenance depot at some point during its journey. Yeah, Topeka. Let's just go into Topeka. So settler bonus. 450,000 is what we need to fund that settler bonus. So I think that might be what we do next, because then that's one of our tasks ticked off straight away. And there's the money for that. So why don't we do it straight away? So that's our first task fulfilled without too many complications. That's the corn also ticked off. I imagine we've made progress towards the lumber. I think we should have made 1 delivery by now. Yeah, we've dropped off 8. And we're, yeah, doing pretty well on the old freight car front as well. Already above 60 freight cars. Right, so could we pick up this industry here? Not right now, we couldn't. Could we pick up the brewery? Let's see. Probably not. It is at full utilization. What about this fella right here? Not just yet. Could we pick up the corn? That's at full utilisation as well, so we don't really want to be looking into that. And what about the meat industry? Oh, you're a bit cheaper. Still can't afford it though. We do have plenty of industries, although we'll look at this, we're going to have to buy concessions into the other states. Indian Territory, what do we have here? We have Nebraska, North Texas, New Mexico. We can go into Colorado, Wyoming. This is a good way to learn the geography of the American Midwest, if like me, you're not that familiar with it. Right, so what do we want to do next? Well, we don't have much money to do a great deal, but what I think we could do nice and cheaply is bring in some wool into Kansas City. That is going to prompt the utilization to remain a little bit higher for a little bit longer, which means we might not be able to pick it up as quickly as we like if we do opt to go down that route. What's happened here? That's what's happened. It went a bit funny. And yeah, we might have to, like I said, wait till the mid-game till we're in a position to pick up these industries. That's if we decide to go ahead with that plan at all. But for now, it gets us extra freight cars rolling, it gets us more income as well. So I think it's worthwhile doing it this way around. Let's just slow it back down here while we set this up. So we're minimum of 4, and this will be wool to Kansas City. If we can press the right keys. I spelt that all sorts of wrong. There we go. Wool to Kansas City. Freight only. Baldwin 10-wheeler. Just the one. It's only a short journey. That should be enough to keep Kansas City nicely supplied with wool. What we could also do as well is perhaps have a line from Rice stop into Kansas City to get some wood being brought in. How much? Well, we'd have to come into a new platform first of all, because we don't want one train waiting for the other if the demand has dried up in the respective cities. So let's see if we could afford to do this. He's not liking that there, so let's bring it in a little bit sooner. Push that one back, push that one back. There we go. What we'll have to do is this line here. Where are you? There you are. Edit the rail line. Make sure you're staying on platform 1. And now what we want to do is do something just like that. So we'll be able to afford to double track it, but not much else on top of that with 8,000. But it does mean we are ready to go, although I think we're going to want these to come into platform 2, if I'm honest. Just keeps things nice and tidy. Don't know what you're trying to... What are you doing? Good lord. Let's try that again, shall we? Right, you don't like that, do you? You really don't like that. I don't know why. There's nothing... What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that, friend? Well, it's... Yeah, that's what I want you to do. That's precisely what I have in mind. Anyway, maybe we'll just have to keep that on platform 1 then. Well, that's fine, isn't it? Right, signals. Did we put our signals down here? Let's have a look. Yeah, we did. We don't have a supply tower, though. We're not going to be able to afford a supply tower at 27, just under 28,000, but never mind. But as soon as we can, we'll then set up a line from Rice Stop to Kansas City. That'll get some wood and extra freight cars on our network as well, which is going to help everybody out. What's going off here? Oh, you're being repaired. That's what's going off here. Let's just speed the game up a little bit, shall we? Right, let's get our supply tower. We'll pop that just there. And we'll sit on the line. We're not going to be able to buy it straight away because of the costs involved. So we want you to have 4 from platform number 2 this time to Kansas City. And this is wood to Kansas. No, we called it lumber last time, so let's stick with that. Lumber over to Kansas City. Locomotive 10-wheeler. Yeah, we can't afford it. Not even close. but we can sit on it while the money accumulates in the background, which hopefully won't take us too long. Now, for those of you who have played this scenario, I wonder if your initial reaction was similar to mine when you compare it to our previous scenario, Railway Mania, where we had very, very few businesses to connect to. Here we have, well, we have rural industries coming out of our ears, really. They are absolutely, I know you can't see them at the moment, but they are absolutely everywhere on this map. So making money should be considerably easier. But then again, who knows, maybe making money on Railway Mania. The whole game is Railway Empire. Yeah, maybe making money on the previous chapter was easy. I was just some sort of idiot who messed it up. As I said, I will go back to that at some point and try it again. So 72,000, we're up to 35, so ticking on about halfway there, give or take a couple of thousand. And I think everything's looking good. I don't want to click the task list because it will undo all of this. We can't just save it, which is unfortunate. Could we just chuck on a cheaper loco actually, just to get things running? We could chuck on the GM American for now and then seek to replace it later on. Yeah, let's do that. At least it gets the ball rolling. So Topeka's growing nicely, largely thanks to that settler bonus we chucked on in here. How is this with stock? We need sugar. Do we have sugar nearby? And yeah, now you see what I mean about plenty of industries to choose from. Well, we have some sugar down by Dodge City. It's a bit of a way off. I like the look of this one here, where we have two clustered together, same here and same here. So we can have one station serve both industries. That's going to be quite nice down the line. Research. Yeah, let's get the... Oh, what was this one here first of all? We don't have any maintenance posts yet, so we don't want to worry about that. Let's get the cheaper or the reduced auction costs. Because I would like to start hoovering up some industries at some point. Yeah, we're having issues here where our trains are just waiting while they're getting service, which is not ideal. But I think we can live with it. I mean, you are on the way now. Who's going to get priority? You who've been waiting longer, or you? You. That makes sense, probably. Does it? Probably not. Are you going to be serviced when you're there? More than likely, less than half. Are you getting serviced? Yeah, you are. Okay, well, I think that's where we'll end it for today's opening salvo. I like to think we might have made a pretty decent start. 8 out of 12 there, pretty good. And nearly 150 out of 250 on the freight cars, also pretty good, especially that, well, when you consider we're still only in March of 1868. Quite pleased with that. So what we'll do is, what I tend to do is we will save the game and then we'll have a ride on maybe Thompson Stop into Topeka and back to Thompson Stop. I might cut it short if we're having to wait on a train being serviced when we get to Topeka, but we'll see what happens. I don't think we will, because Stuffwind Platform 2 can be serviced at its rural stations as well. So yeah, I'll just save it here and then we'll hop on just when this train is leaving Thompson Stop. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've just had to amend this train's orders. We were waiting far too long to depart the station, so I've reduced it to waiting for 3, which is what we have. And yeah, now we're on the way. So I hope you've enjoyed this opening gambit here on the Westward Advance chapter. I think it promises to be quite an exciting one with plenty of opportunity to make plenty of money, which is quite a nice change from what we had last time out when we were struggling even in the end game to get a strong income going. As always at this point, a very special thank you to my supporters on Patreon. Your support is very, very generous and deeply appreciated, so thank you very much indeed for that. For now, though, ladies and gentlemen, as always, all that remains for me to say is take very good care of yourselves, Enjoy the cab ride. It's ta-ta for now.
Freshly laid tracks fills the air with joyful anticipation.